Excellence, distinguished guests, family and friends. Today, I want to share with you a story of hope. In June last year, we established the South African chapter of the Maronite Foundation. The goal was simple: to help South African Lebanese community reconnect with our roots, embrace our connection to our homeland, and reclaim our birthrights. But to put this cause into perspective, in over 30 years here in South Africa, this has been a desperate cause made up of broken promises, PR stunts, and false propaganda. These false promises instilled a sense of distrust, stripping our people of any faith in the system and their Lebanese identity. However, in 6 short months, we have just seen how deeply this initiative has touched the soul of our community, more than we've ever dreamed. Minister Basile, thanks to your support for the embassy, and thanks to your championing of the new citizenship law, you have given the objectives of the Maronite Foundation a platform. Finally, we now have the opportunity to encourage and inspire our people into reclaiming their birthrights. Minister Basile, this incredible Maronite Foundation that I am privileged to be part of, this new law, time on this stage here today in your presence, has given hope to the hopeless. It is truly inspiring to have witnessed spirits rise in the South African Lebanese community. We never thought any of this was possible. A big thanks needs to go out to His Excellency our Consulate Ara, who is our friend and totally committed to this cause. I will be remiss not to quote Ara's personal motivation to me in this cause. Chkhane, your grandfather was proud to be Lebanese, but he'll be much prouder when he hears that you claim back your Lebanese citizenship. Minister Basile, for all us immigrants, Lebanon is more than a country. It is a holy land that carries a message of culture, family, and courage. It carries our identity. It is the land of our people, the land that our grandfathers fought for. The land of Christ and the place where our values and beliefs prospered. We were once overshadowed by the thought of never being able to claim our birthright. Thanks to you, Minister Basile, we now have hope. Minister Basile, to every Lebanese descendant outside of Lebanon, you have become and will always be the father of hope. We've helped heal the spirit of the South African Lebanese community and given us the strength to come together as one community. We're now able to walk the same paths as our grandfathers and grandmothers once walked. This was once never thought possible. On behalf of every Lebanese immigrant in South Africa, I thank you. Our children's children will forever remember you and forever thank you for giving them their roots back. You will be remembered for generations to come as the father of hope. Minister Basile, all we have left is one wish. And I know what a truly contentious issue this is. But it's a wish that I know if anyone is able to grant, it is you. My wish is to give hope to our Lebanese mothers, daughters, and sisters. These women are powerful pillars in the diaspora. They are the ones who instill our Lebanese traditions, heritage, and passion for Lebanon. They are the ones who touch the hearts of our children and instill in them a sense of absolute, unwavering pride in their Lebanese heritage. It is these Lebanese women who inspire the community to action. I pray that soon they will be able to pass on their birthright to their children. It is now time to honor them. Minister Basile, on this very contentious issue, let's remember that when the world says, give up on fighting for our women, hope whispers, try it one more time. God bless you.
Good afternoon.
أول صرخة أمان سمع صداها بلبنان تتسجل ابنك لبناني أرض جدوده أرض لسان كل حقوق طلع صعب سيدي ونعمل كمان بالإيقاع العلم حقوق تبقى محفوظة بأمان متأجل سجل لبناني بأرض بلاده خلق له إيمان هيدا بلدنا وما إله تاني اصبر فصل مكان خليك لبناني ما تأجل سجل.
Once again, good afternoon. Your Excellency Minister Basil, Your Excellency Minister Atallah, he's not here, Ambassador Ara, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. It's a great privilege for me today to be with you on behalf of the Maronite Foundation. Today we have a short agenda. We will be talking, if this works. So, I had a presentation. Good. I'll use manual. We will give them. Today's agenda, it's three parts. One, I will introduce the Maronite Foundation. The second one, we'll talk a little bit about Lebanese statistics. And at the end, we'll talk about registration. So the total should not take more than 10 or 12 minutes. The Maronite Foundation was founded in 2008 by His Beatitude Patriarch Sfair and His Excellency Minister Michel Eddi. Today, the Maronite Foundation has 50 prominent members of the Lebanese community, with an annual budget of $1.25 million that is invested totally in the diaspora. I don't know of any other non-government organization that is spending funds to promote a relationship abroad. Please allow me to introduce few board members of the Maronite Foundation that they have been very generous for the past 8 years. I'd like to start with Mr. Michel Abinader, who's with us in here as well. Mr. Maroon Helou, Mr. Hikmat Amal Abzed, thank you. And of course, recently, our friend John Shalala. The mission of the Maronite Foundation is very simple: to strengthen the tie between the Lebanese living in Lebanon and the one living abroad. Very simple. We do that with two objectives. One, to promote and assist the registration of Lebanese immigrants. The second, to promote Lebanese heritage and encourage back to roots visits. To promote the registration, the Maronite Foundation established 17 offices around the world. We have offices in Europe, we have offices in USA, we have offices in Canada, Australia, South and Latin America. We have also recently established an office in South Africa in 2016. Next year, or this year, we have a plan to establish an office in Chile, Cuba, and Bolivia. Now, of course, all these offices, they would not be able to deliver if it wasn't for the hard work that we have at our headquarters in Beirut, especially managed by Madame Bastani, who's with us also today, and also with our friend and expert, Yusuf Dwayhi, that you all know probably by now. The role of the offices is to sponsor any Lebanese activity We work together with the church, with the mosques, with any Lebanese clubs to really drive the people to register. We sponsor campaigns. We have our registration drives at every Lebanese event around the states and the countries that I have mentioned. We do that with passion. You heard John Shalala and the passion he has about the registration. But I learned today something, and I'm going to be out of script, about perseverance. My fellow Lebanese living in Africa, if we didn't learn anything today about perseverance, by watching Anthony Kairos today, this is a great message. Never, 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 never give up. The time has come to claim your citizenship. I can promise you this, thanks to the leadership of our foreign minister, who together with the coalition was able to pass a law that all previous presidents of the countries failed to do since 1942 until 2016. So please give our Minister of Foreign Affairs a great applause. One, for believing in it. Two, for putting the coalition to do so. Now, to promote visits to Lebanon, we have established in 2013 the Maronite Academy. Maronite Academy hosts every year 50 to 80 students from the age of 20 to 30 years old. That will come from various countries to spend with us 2 weeks at no cost. We cover the airline tickets, we cover the hotels, we cover all the transportation. We have applicants from 40 to 50 countries. They apply online. Again, maroniteacademy.com. We have an online course whereby we will filter to take out of 500, 600, we take usually around 50 to 80 people. This year's session is about Michel Chiha. So they will get to learn and write essays about Michel Chiha, the great man that who had helped the Constitution in Lebanon. Today we have graduated up to 200 students from 30 countries. Now, too bad we don't have pictures, I guess. So much for technology. I move to the second sector, the Lebanese Statistics. Here. So, I will run quickly with the Lebanese statistics. According to 2009's records, the population in Lebanon is 4.5 million. The newborn, we register every year 60,000 newborn. However, when we look at the statistics, we see that the single men between the age of 30 and 69 are 35%. The norm in the world, 20% of the people, they don't get married. In our books, we have 35% of the total population that still remain single. This tells us that the people who are living abroad, they are not registering their marriages. That's why we still have them listed as single. Now, again, if we had the chart, I wanted to present for you the difference between our newborn and the Syrian refugee newborns. So I repeat, we have 4.5 million population. We have a yearly newborn 60,000. The Syrian registered in Lebanon are 1.5 million. We see every year 72,000 newborns, Syrian newborns in Lebanon. So we are 60 Lebanese living in Lebanon abroad, and we have 72,000 Syrian newborn in Lebanon. So what I want you to say here, if we don't go and register, somebody else will take our place. So we need you, please, to register your marriages and your birth and your newborn. The registration process cannot be made easier than it was before. Today, if we look at the statistics of 1924 and 1921, we see 8,000 registered that they immigrated to Africa during those years. 1,500 of them came to Transvaal and Pretoria. If we look at the 1932 records, we see that we have 1,500 Lebanese who immigrated to South Africa, claimed back their citizenship. So we have almost 3,000 who immigrated to South Africa before 1920. Today we estimate the Lebanese who have the right to claim their citizenship based on the old and new law around 20,000 people. We have talked yesterday about 400 already registered. If we look at their descendants, probably they will make 4,000 to 5,000. So we still have 15,000 to go. So we hope and we pledge, in cooperation with the embassy in South Africa, then in the coming 2 years, John and his team will work on registering or helping people to register another 15,000. So we wish you good luck. And you might want to quit your day job. So. Now, as I mentioned, registering is becoming very easy. Every person that he thinks he is from Lebanese origin, all he has to do is go visit the website www.lebanity.com. I repeat, www.lebanity.gov.lb. This is why we need the screen. Or you can visit the consulate or call the Maronite Foundation, and they will help you through the process. Once you fill up your name, in 24 or 48 hours, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they answer you for what document you still need in order to complete your applications. I'm talking 24 to 48 hours. This, in the Lebanese government, was unheard of. You apply today, in 48 hours, you get answers, what documents you need to get your application approved. And as we saw in the video, 3 to 6 months, you will get your citizenship. Why get the Lebanese citizenship? With the Lebanese citizenship, you get the right to vote. As Minister Bassil mentioned yesterday, whether you vote directly in Lebanon or in the future you'll have your own representative. The right to own your properties, the right to invest and establish business, the right to enjoy low-tax environment, contrary to what our friend mentioned yesterday, that probably the tax law might change, but I don't think so. The right to benefit from banking secrecy, the right to revise and work in Lebanon permanently. A few facts about Lebanon. Of course, as you know, dual citizenship allowed. No military service is required in Lebanon anymore. A registration process is free of charge. Finally, I wish Shar Arbid was still here because I would like to add one more thing about branding. In the diaspora, the biggest brand equity we have is that I am Lebanese. During our travel to the USA, to Latin America, to Brazil, I am Lebanese has a high equity rate. I am Lebanese, if you're an engineer, that means you're the best engineer. If you are a doctor, that means you are the best doctor. And if you are a lawyer, that means you are the best lawyer. Therefore, we need to add it to our brand equity that I am Lebanese. It's a great equity. It's priceless. So I would like to finish with one sentence, that Lebanon is proud of you. So please, be proud of your roots. Your grandfathers claimed their citizenship, so they reserve the right for you to claim it. Please do it for your kids. Thank you.
Charles, thank you very, very much. John, thank you as well for those words, and just, I think, again, talking us through the process. And I promise you that I don't know of a single Lebanese South African that isn't going to apply for the process. I can promise you that much. So the demand is going to be overwhelming. I hope you can cope. That's my advice to you. And thank you for running with the process. All right, we are now heading into just the final three presentations that you're going to hear today. And then, of course, we're going to do the closing ceremony and just hand over one or two gifts as well, which we feel needs to be done today. So before that all happens, however, we want to continue on the whole issue of identity and nationality and the restoration of the legal framework, nostalgia benefits, and a wonderfully charismatic man is the first person who's going to come up and speak to you. In fact, those of you that are going to go down to the beautiful Western Cape are going to be given a very warm and delightful time by this man, because he's wonderful, and you're going to enjoy listening to him as well. So our first person that I'm going to introduce, and then of course they're going to come up one by one, Dr. Michael Lewis, who is a former minister, actually, in the provincial government of the Western Cape of South Africa, and that's a great honor. Then we're going to hear from Mr. Philippe Ziade, who I hope I did pronounce your name right, the president and co-founder of Appleton Properties, the founder of Investor Stay program from Lebanon, and then finally, Mr. Khalil Badawi, who is the CEO of Cross Continental Invest, to stay partnerships and projects also from Lebanon. But first up, ladies and gentlemen, let's have Michael up on stage.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. And I know we're running late, but I've really got a lot on my heart to share. And this is the only opportunity that I can do it, because it's not something that I'm going to share with the business community or any other community. It's my one chance. And I've been asked to speak about my Lebanity. And a lot of people don't understand what the word Lebanity actually means. But it's actually the culmination of two words, Lebanese and identity. And so I'm going to give you an emotional story about my discovery of my Lebanity. But before that, I'm wanting to just thank His Excellency just for the most unbelievable vision that you've had. And you've really been part of my personal journey. And I think the same to many, many other Lebanese. And I don't see our Charge d'Affaires, Ara, but I'm sure you're all going to agree with me. Ara is not our Charge d'Affaires. He's our ambassador and he's our brother. Friends, you know, when you have children, they all talk to you and they say, but hasn't my child got blue eyes like the grandmother, or haven't they got the legs like the grandfather, or haven't they? And that's very interesting for me, because nobody talks about the inheritance of the DNA that exists in the Lebanese people. And that's my personal discovery, because in my growing up, I started understanding that there's a very special DNA in each one of us. And it's a genetic code that cannot be repeated unless it goes to your children. And today, it is the biggest gift that my father could have ever have given me, is that genetic code. And that's why, if you really want to hear my real story, that's the beginning and the end. Is the success of who I am is my genetic code. And just quickly, because of time, to tell you my story, and I really have a little bit of tears in my eyes when I think of it. Can you imagine my grandfather left in about 1910 on a steamship all the way to Africa? And I don't know, the gods must have been with him, because I don't know how he landed in Cape Town, but I think we were very blessed, you know. But most people didn't even know, you know, that he arrived in Africa. I've met family members and say, but we thought he was in South America. Did he actually arrive in Africa? But the one thing I do know is that he had courage and strength because he wanted to give hope to a new generation with nothing in his hands. And that's why we are who we are, to fight back for what he did, because today we are a third generational business. We've got 5 boys all working for my father, and we celebrated 114 years and also given work to thousands and thousands of people. But that is nothing for the creative energy that the diaspora that they have caused. But the real miracle about my story is that my father married an Afrikaner woman. And during my struggle of growing up, I knew that I was different. Because if you knew the Afrikaners, every time they shook my hand, for 3 days I couldn't use my hand, and my father and my grandmother used to pinch my cheeks and give me a hug, you know. So I knew that I was different. I just knew it, but I didn't understand. And because she was Afrikaner, in my life growing up, they never really nurtured my Lebanese roots. But who did nurture my Lebanese roots was my grandmother, because she used to bring the spinach pies and the za'atar, and I used to smell it. And also, she used to pray, and that's why, John, I must congratulate you. We need to honor the women of Lebanon more, because while we're sitting and doing the business, they at home praying for all of us. And that's why I am a man of prayer, because I've learned it from my grandmother. But it's something inherent in our Lebanese culture. It's something that I learned in a very, very special way. But the miracle happened in 1994 when I was nominated to government, and I got a phone call from George Easter, their honorary consul, and he said, congratulations, Honourable, you're the first Lebanese MP in South Africa. Well, actually, when I heard the phone call, I thought, Lebanese MP. I didn't quite put the two together. But what was powerful, that George Easter invited me to come to his home, and then I was invited to Lebanon. And when I went to Lebanon, as I got off the plane and I walked into the airport, I saw the one man taking his son and putting him on a cheek, and I knew that I was home. And that's when I fell in love. But God went before us and placed wonderful families, and I'm very privileged to have my friend Norman and Emil Kai, because even when I was a young boy, growing up in my teens of 20s and 15, the only friends I always wanted to go and visit was my Lebanese friends. And I didn't really know my identity, but the genetic code was like a magnet that supernaturally connected us. And that was something that I nurtured, and I want to honor you and your family today, Norman and Emil, for what you people have did in my discovery and my journey of discovery. Colleagues, I want to end with this section by telling you, even although we're a big business and a big family, I was rich, but I wasn't wealthy. When I discovered my roots, I was opened a treasure cove of jewels, of thousands of people, of pearls and diamonds and rubies, of people that enriched my life, people that were hospitable, people that were warm, that were hardworking, that were generous, that were spiritual, and even if I can't say so, even beautiful. So this treasure cove, my whole life just suddenly changed. And the best way to explain it, of who the Lebanese is, and I'm sure you all know it, I know the minister's definitely going to know it, but listen to this poem of Khalil Gibran, the famous poet. But listen what he says, because it's so, so beautiful. It's, I have your Lebanon, you have your Lebanon, and I have my Lebanon. Listen to it. Let me tell you who are the children of my Lebanon. Let me tell you that they migrate with nothing, but with courage in their heart and strength in their arms, but who realize that their wealth is with a wreath of heads, a wreath on their heads, and a wreath of glory upon their heads, They are victorious wherever they go, and respected wherever they settle. They are the ones born in huts, but die in places of learning. They are the children of Lebanon. They are the lambs that cannot be snuffed by the wind, and the salt which remains unspoilt through the ages. They are the ones who subtly move towards perfection, beauty, and truth. Isn't that incredible about how the Lebanese people are described? But colleagues, I want to end by asking you, there was a big question in my life. What do I do now that I know who I really am? I needed to start at home. I needed to see to it that my wife starts embracing my culture, because I also married an Afrikaner woman. I needed my children to understand, and my children said to me, but why do you love Lebanon so much and you haven't even got a passport? So I went in a process, and I'm very pleased to say, with Hiam, who's the heart of the Maronite Foundation, by the way, I went and said to my daughter, you need to go to the Maronite Foundation, and you need to understand the roots of really who you are. And she spent a month, all cost paid, and she came back a totally different person. That's why to get your Lebanese passport, we all need our own identity. And today, Minister, it remains my greatest passion. Miriam always asks me, but Michael, why do you want your passport so badly? It's because we all need an own address, and I want to be a Lebanese. I want to have that address. Now we're going to talk about invest to stay, because how do I give back to a place that I really love, our beloved Lebanon? And this is invest to stay, a way of giving back.
Invest where and for who to stay. The idea is simply you invest wherever you're at in the world. In our case, we started in the US. So you invest in the US for our people to stay in Lebanon. Where did the idea come from? Simply, it was very clear that you cannot keep our people in Lebanon based on just charitable donation. We must instead provide them with a viable opportunity that is based on a formula that creates perpetual value, both for the donor and the receiver. In other words, we must gainfully employ them and give them the hope for a better financial future in Lebanon. It is also very important to understand that this economic opportunity will have the added benefit of creating social stability in Lebanon. Such stability will, as a first step, slow the immigration of Lebanese youth, then stop it, and hopefully we'll be able to even reverse that immigration trend. Invest to Stay program is designed to provide substantial benefit to the Lebanese economy and to the people of Lebanon while investing and making money. The program was first launched in the US, and through the 20% that was supposed to be reinvested in Lebanon, we were able to participate in the Lebanese American Home in coordination with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
I think we'll have to cut it short. You can see they're cutting everything. So, what?
Invest to Stay is also minimizing unemployment by creating new job opportunities in Lebanon through the different projects that we started, we are investing in, mainly in technology projects like Fanscribe, Ziyara.
So what is Fanscribe? Where does the idea of Fanscribe come from? Each one of us, since an early age, has a celebrity, an idol that we like to follow, we like to be close to, and we like even to have an encounter with and be from the close circle. And we are in the 21st century, and with technology, we are able to do anything we want. So Fanscribe not only allows you to get real-time notifications and follow the activities of your celebrity, but also gives you access to premium content you cannot find anywhere else. You can watch their live streams, you can have a hangout session, you can have a live chat with your celebrities, you can have merchandise, you can buy merchandise you cannot find in the market, and you can even have the chance to meet in person with that celebrity.
We're also investing a lot in technology development in Lebanon. All the projects that we're having in the US, we're having them being developed in Lebanon. One, to help the Lebanese economy and help with unemployment. Two, is to brand the Lebanese talent to the world. We want to tell the world that, yes, in Lebanon we do have talent that can challenge the most sophisticated countries, especially in technology. And because technology today can be spread easily throughout the world, this is a good industry to invest in, because through technology we can sell the Lebanese brand without actually letting the Lebanese youth leaving or immigrating from Lebanon. So we can share the talent with the world while staying in Lebanon. And now by having Michael Louis join the Invest to Stay board, we will be launching the program in Africa in the upcoming LDE South Africa.
In the journey of my discovery of my Lebanity, I now know who I am and who I'm wanting to work with in my business life. That is people that have got a sense of family, a sense of fun, prepared to take risks, but much more importantly, wanting to give back. I'm privileged to be part of a family business that's been on this continent of Africa for more than 100 years. I know the people, I know their culture, I know how they operate. But more importantly, I know that Africa is the continent of the future. Africa needs you. It can't do it alone. I personally can't think of anybody more equipped than the Lebanese diaspora to hold hands with us and to move this continent into its next phase. Invest to Stay is the perfect vehicle, because not only does it bless Africa, but it blesses our beloved Lebanon at the same time. I highly recommend you. If you can, you must.
First of all, I want to thank Michael Lewis for this beautiful speech. You have awakened the Lebanity in every one of us. I just want to start by saying that I'm humbled and privileged to be here today. I've been with the LDE convention every single time, every single year, because I do believe that incredible things happen in life as a result of persistence and desire. And that's what we feel. I'm going to share with you first where Invest to Stay come from, the idea. Second, I'm going to explain to you in a little bit more detail what is Invest to Stay. And third, I'm going to tell you what we've done so far and where we see ourselves going in the future. Invest to Stay started for me as a quest to find answers for questions that always bothered me, haunted me, and concerned me. How can we strengthen the ties within the diaspora first, And then how can we strengthen the ties of the diaspora with Lebanon? What should we do to rebuild that sense of belonging to the Lebanese heritage among Lebanese expatriates? How can we have a common goal and get together under a joint economic plan that benefit all, rather than a political one that we always seem divided? All these questions, how can we create an opportunity where we can forge an alliance between entrepreneurs, investors, even foundation, working in concert to create not an opportunity, but an environment of opportunities where the Lebanese diaspora members can grow their potential in Lebanon. And the answer for all these questions is Invest to Stay. So what is Invest to Stay? If you are an entrepreneur, you have a project, you have an idea, you present that project to the board will look at the project, will evaluate the project from risk factor, feasibility, return. We also look very closely of the person who's presenting the project, their qualifications, their background, their reputation. Once the project is approved, it will be uploaded on the platform. At that time, we have two options. We either invest in the project ourselves with our investors, or we send it to the diaspora qualified investors all over the world with the help of the Lebanese embassies and consulates. All of that for free, but what we request is first to commit. Everybody has to commit. The investors and the entrepreneur that 20% of the profits, only if there is profits, 20% of the profits to be reinvested in Lebanon. Not even donated, reinvested in Lebanon. We also require them to employ Lebanese talent, Lebanese diaspora talent, as much as possible in these projects. So by doing that, we are answering these questions. By investing in the diaspora abroad, let's say in the US, one, we're strengthening the ties within the diaspora between entrepreneurs and investors. We are employing youth, Lebanese talent. By doing that, we are making sure that the youth, that these diaspora success stories are really empowering the youth, inspiring them to realize their potential. We want them to look at the success stories of the diaspora and trigger the interest of why are we doing it. Teaching them how to become wealthy, not rich, not just rich, wealthy. Changing their habits. What we do on a daily basis determines our habits. And our habits determine our life's foundation. Who we are, what we become, what impact are we doing? Are we leaving on others? What impact are we doing for Lebanon? How can we leave this country in a better shape from when we found it? And what we build on that foundation becomes our legacy. So by doing that also, we are creating opportunities, job opportunities in Lebanon. We are empowering Lebanese youth also in Lebanon. The last 2 years, we've done projects. We started in the US. We've done projects, we invested, and we made money. And that resulted in donating the Lebanese American Home, and that resulted in an office in Lebanon where now we have full-time, 20 employees, youth in Lebanon, full-time employed in Lebanon, and that's growing. What we have now in the US, we are part of a big project that is also Invest to Stay. It's a casino project, hotel and casino project. It's a $2.3 billion project where we control 20% of it, and that was part of Invest to Stay. Also, we just signed a partnership with Tesla Corporation. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that. And Tesla has agreed. We're building the first Tesla village community in the world in Las Vegas, and it's part of Invest to Stay. And we're proud of that. Thank you. We all go back to this little country. How can it exist? This little Calgary of confusion and irony, where we have 18 different religious sects coexisted more or less forever in an intersection of every little incidence community that wants to mess with it. This only singular experience of Western civilization and religion in the middle of Islamic proliferation. This tiny little place, this tiny little rose, where other than the 4 million people living in it, there's 15 million of you all over the world, building these long lines, connecting these harmonic chords that people can never forget. Yes.
How are you? I'm sorry, we have to conclude.
No problem.
Because we are running out of time. Sorry for this inconvenience.
No problem. Thank you. So I think, Michael, you want to say something? You have a presentation for Michael. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Khalil,
Thank you,
a
Mohammed.
single word from Khalil, so we can proceed with the closing ceremony, please.
Okay, I was handed a paper saying I just have 1 minute to comment. So I'm going to ask the security guards to close the doors unless everybody registers to Invest to Stay. No, I'm kidding. So if you saw the website, we did a lot of projects all in 1 year. The idea started 2 years ago. In 1 year, last year we started putting projects, and now we started bearing the fruits. And we already have an office in Lebanon with 20 people. So imagine only us, what we did. So if we only put all of us together, our hands together, we can make much more. And if we had time, we have more projects to share with you. But please, it takes a minute to register, and you can just say what project you're interested in, which countries, what kind of investment, and you'll get projects that fits your profile needs. So I'm going to just do this comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. Just a closing statement. If
Thank you.
don't. Colleagues, just to say that obviously we're launching Africa, but what I wanted to say to you is, in my personal experience, it's not only how you bless Lebanon, but it's how you work with people that you can rub shoulders with. And that's why we need to develop a culture of speaking Lebanon and committing to Lebanon. And that's what we need to do. And I end by saying this to you, from my heart to your heart. We must go where there is no path and create a path and make a trail where there was no trail. I thank you. Thank you, Mohammed.
Thank you.